the quadratic formula, let's say, can be used to solve any quadratic. The quadratic formula can be used to solve any quadratic. You do not have to know one way of doing this. Any quadratic can be solved using the quadratic formula. It will always, 100% of the time, work. So the steps to solving the quadratic are that the quadratic must be in standard form, which is what we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday with the discriminant. Standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? Or equals y, or equals f of x, or f of x equals, and then a standard form. So after you have it in standard form, you're going to substitute. Anytime you substitute, what should you use? Parentheses. After you substitute, you're going to simplify. And after you simplify, you're going to solve twice. All right, here's the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals, because x, right, stands for our x-intercept. It's what we're looking for. Where does the parabola cross the x-axis? So the x value equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Do you recognize b squared minus 4ac? Yes. That's the discriminant from yesterday. All over 2a. All right, so this is the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula has been set to a song so you can remember it. The downfall of the song is that when it was created, or when it was set to the song, most people knew the song that it was set to. I've discovered over time, Pop Goes the Weasel has kind of gone out of style. So the song is Pop Goes the Weasel. That's the original. Right, which is all around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Right? So we changed it. It's the Jack in the Box. Well, you know, like those ones where you have the Jack in the Box that you crank and then the Jack jumps out at you and scares the living lights out of you.
It doesn't scare me.
So the quadratic formula is this. Are you ready? X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is, thank you, how you can remember the quadratic formula, because here's the deal. You forget that it's negative b, or you forget that it's all over 2a, you're going to get the wrong answer. Like, there's no purpose in using the quadratic formula if you're not going to get the right answer. So, again, it's x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But again, we have discovered Pop Goes the Weasel, not the hippest song. So, there have been lots of things posted on YouTube with different songs. So if you are anti Pop Goes the Weasel, you can search and find your own. All right, so we are going to put examples in here. I don't know. Hamburger. Okay, here we go. Again, examples of this. Quadratic formula. Example number 1. Sorry. 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Now again, the quadratic formula, I suggest, at least for our notes, we write it down without substituting first, because the more you write something, the more you remember it. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we're going to substitute a, b, and c. So x equals negative, what's the b value? 3. Gentlemen, please pay attention. Plus or minus the square root of b, which was 3 squared minus 4, what's a? 2, what's c? Negative 5, all over 2 times a, which is 2. Okay, so here's the thing. I would not waste your time typing that all in your calculator, because the first thing I would check is I would simplify your discriminant, which is that b squared minus 4ac part. I would simplify that, because what if you simplify that and you get a negative number? Should you keep doing the problem? No. So I would always simplify the discriminant first. Because again, if you simplify that discriminant and you get a negative value, you should stop. There's no solution. So in your calculator, I'm going to write down still x equals -3 plus or minus. But what is the discriminant? Instead of saying 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times -5, type that in your calculator. Excuse me. Let's see. 3 squared is 9. -8 times -5, -4, positive 40. 49, is that right? Double check my math, yes? All right. So I get 49, so I know I'm going to have a solution over 4. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Now here's where you can do this. I would, because now, the quadratic must be in standard form, check. We substituted, check. We simplified, check. Now we solve it twice. So, what's -3 plus, what's the square root of 49? What's -3 plus 7? 4 divided by 4, x equals 1. That's the first time we solved it. Let's solve another one. Do it again, but this time instead of doing -3 plus, we're going to do -3 minus. What's -3 minus the square root of 49? -10 divided by 4. What? 2.5? -2.5. And you're done. All right, let's try another one. X squared minus 4 equals 2x. Step 1. Quadratic must be in standard form. Is this in standard form? No. Can you make it in standard form?
Yes.
Okay, so it's x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm rewriting the quadratic. X equals -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm writing it down every time in our notes. The more you write it down, the more you remember it. Because you are going to be in trouble if you forget one little part. Okay. Quadratic must be in standard form. Check. Substitute. All right, so x equals negative. What's the b value?
Negative.
So -2 plus or minus square root of b, so -2 squared minus 4, what's a?
0.
What? 1. What's c? -4. All over 2 times a, which is 1. X equals -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, so after you substitute, then we simplify. X equals, what's -2? +2. plus or minus square root. Type the discriminant in, right? I mean, simplify that discriminant, because if that discriminant is a negative value, you're done. If that discriminant is a negative value, you have no solution. So what's negative 2 squared is 4. 4 plus 16, yeah, it's 20. All over 2, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the deal. You're going to get a decimal, correct? Because we don't know what the square root of 20 is. It's not perfect. So you're going to get a decimal. That's okay. Type it in your calculator. Type in 2 plus the square root of 20. Get an answer. Divide it by 2. 2 plus the square root of 20. Get an answer. Divided by 2. I'm getting 3.4. Let's double check with other people. Yes? Let me double check. 2 plus the square root of 20 is 6.47 divided by 2, 3.24. $3.24. All right, do it again, but this time instead of adding 2 plus radical 20, 2 minus radical 20 divided by 2. 2 minus radical 20. Dean, what'd you get? 2.4. All right, let's try this last one. What? All right, 2x minus 5x squared equals 30. Two x minus 5x squared equals 30. I'm going to make this a plus. Sorry. All right, step number 1, is it in standard form?
No.
Who can tell me what standard form would look like? Anybody? I'm trying to make this work a certain way. Change that to negative 30 in the original problem so it becomes positive 30 when you switch it over. I'm trying to make it easier. All right, so x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals what's negative, what's our b value? 2. Plus or minus square root of b, which is 2 squared minus 4. What's a? What's c? 30. All over 2 times 5. All right, simplify it. Simplify that discriminant. If you were going to rewrite it, simplify that discriminant. Negative 2 plus or minus, right? X equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root. What's 2 squared minus 4 times 5 times 30? No. Type in your calculator. 2 squared minus 4 times 5 times 30. Simplify your discriminant. Negative what? 596. All over what? What's 2 times 5? What's 2 times 5?